morning, good evening, welcome to Blue Falcon TCG. We're going to make this short and sweet and jump into our gameplay as soon as we go through this list. This is Ezra Yellow. It is going to be a in-your-face, fast, aggressive deck, similar to like some Sabines, any of your other rush decks. But right now, Ezra might be the best heroism aggro deck going into Galactics, maybe Wedge, but I think this takes a cake because it's utilizing one of the cooler new mechanics, which is going to be support plus advantage tokens. Let's jump into the list and why we're playing. We're playing a bunch of 3 power, 3 attack, 2 drops to get that Ezra ability, procced. Bigger takeaways of our 2 drops that I think are the most important are going to be our 2 space units, would be the Green Leader and our N1 Starfighter. Because of the Han Solo team up, Charismatic is, there's no explanation needed, just because it floats into a spy. We can upgrade things. We could sudden ferocity and make that spy, get those advantage tokens. An honorable mention for the 2 drops is going to be the new Poe, the red yellow Poe, turning everything off of Saboteur. It does in fact come up in some testing. I don't know if it warrants a 3-up. It could be a 1 or 2 in the main, but I wanted to make this as new mechanic focus as possible. And that's where you're going to see a lot of this new support, action cheating effects that kind of where aggro would piddle out, stuff out, whatever you want to call it, right? They would fall short in sometimes earning the win because they wouldn't be able to swing and produce a board state. Support does that, when support on playability, attack with another unit. It's great. It's the same thing as Maz and Fleet Lieutenant, things that we played in earlier sets, but now it's an actual keyword, which is great. Yellow Ace's Bomber, I think, is the MVP of this deck, being able on attack deal 2 damage to the base, also being a 2/4 with support. It doesn't proc the Ezra ability itself. However, being able, again, action cheat something or play a Han Solo onto this, you're going to get the advantage token. You're going to put 2 damage on base. So it's going to be a 6 damage swing with Han. Some key things that I think are flex pieces that we can definitely drop out of this is going to be our Erks. The 4-cost space seems to be the most flexible in this deck. We want to have the most impactful flip turn for Ezra. So maybe some more plots or anything like that. You'll see in this video that I was playing the Black Squadron 5-cost ship when an upgrade is played onto an attack. It was another way for me to swing with 1 unit, advantage token onto Black Squadrons as an upgrade, and then immediately attack. It was just kind of a way to be cheeky and get some extra damage or steal a game, potentially. It ended up not working as much as testing, and so we ended up dropping them for the new K2s. Rose Tico helps us close out the games. Another flex piece is going to be our 6-drop. It doesn't feel good. It feels fine. A 5/7 ambush, there's probably better cards. But someone a lot better than me gonna figure that out. But before we get into the gameplay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Check out the rest of the channel, please. It means a bunch. TCG Player Store is live, so if you're looking for singles to build this deck out or any deck preparing for Galactics or post-Galactics for the following season, just go ahead and check out Blue Falcon Games. Let's get into some gameplay. All right, our first game is going to be that new Shin Hati, which is honestly, this is a good deck. They have the initiative. We're looking at our starting hand. Go ahead and go to keep this. Aggressive negotiations, some good stuff. We're going to drop our red 3 and our 4-drop just to kind of make sure we got the curve. We should have dropped the other AG and kept the 4-drop so we have a really solid curve going forward. Unfortunately, playing a 3, if they just trade up here, just feels really bad. But this is where we kind of make the mistake. They just exhaust with the Shin Hati ability. We have to hard play the Sabine, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I think we're sitting real pretty here. Gonna go ahead and resource our other 2-drop. This makes a real easy trade up here with the green ability. We also could just potentially have just traded in a base, get the advantage token on our Sabine, but I think that would have been an incorrect play to keep tempo up. The Shin Hati can get out of hand pretty quick with the exhausting, and so this is one of those like, hey, we should have just claimed here, Pat, and got the best out of it. We ended up just thinking this was a better choice. This was right before I switched the list over, cutting down those black squadrons for the K2SOs. Just consistently, they were just a lot better. It is real funny though, because the advantage token is an upgrade, so having it on turn 5 available, swing it on paper, fantastic. It just doesn't work as often as it's supposed to. We're both essentially base racing here, but we just have a really strong board presence. The upgrade, I think, was an incorrect move by them, because they probably should have just traded anyways. But we go ahead and claim here. We're in a real solid position. We got Roast Tico. They don't have a way to out it. So almost guaranteeing us the game 1. And here we go, another support mechanic. Just action cheating on this is a really, really fun way for us to kind of combat some of the control aspects of the game. Playing into our yellow Palp data vault, this is a interesting list. I remember this game kind of tilting me a little bit, just because looking at their resource, that they weren't resourcing. They were just playing 1 and 2 drops, and it was a little confusing. Maybe it's the strategy that I'm not ready for, and I just don't know. But advantage tokens on all these small things, or they just kept forgetting to resource and never requested the undo. So I don't quite know what's going on. But there's some pressure here. Look at that, 5 advantage tokens with a raid on that. That's not cool. And 2 resources, whatever. That's disrespectful. So we gotta have to beguile that. We can't trade up because it will lose too much board pressure and tempo. But what we can do is we can trade up on one side, kill other things, spread the love that way. But the massive advantage tokens was so silly. But we're just gonna have to base race. I mean, this is just exactly what we're gonna have to do. Multiplayer Ezra, we're gonna kill that. We're gonna push damage. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit here and we're just gonna slay as much damage as we can. See, they only resourced at 3, which I thought was such an interesting thing. Maybe I should cover this list and just make jank. I don't know. We ended up skipping the resource. We had the ambush play, which honestly right here was just really, really good. That gave us a lot. Like I said, not having to trade a unit up really, really does help. It just feels good. Going and just consistently getting these extra damage off of Ezra. Once you have a wide board here, the game doesn't really feel losable. However, we just claim initiative here just because they're the Sentinel. I think that was just the wrong and incorrect thing for me to do. I realistically should have just started hitting on one side, but because we had one more action guaranteed to make sure that what's the word I'm looking for? Guaranteed one more action to make sure we had game before they made all the advantage tokens. Also, them trading up here was very, very bad because they could just put us on one attack as opposed to just giving us the free win. Definitely was rough. And here we go. We're probably like more realistic look into the meta, playing just into that blue control. If you guys made it this far, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I do this for fun. I really enjoy it. The TCG store is always live if you're looking for singles, for ashes, and other support from previous sets. If you're playing internal, check out the TCG shop. We got all the Star Wars, all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, and other card games. I hope you have a great day, and now let's jump back into this game. A Sentinel off the rip just feels really mean to us because, hey, we're playing an aggro deck, not a lot of Saboteurs here, aside from our leader. But Ezra being Saboteur is kind of cool. It's just, I think where I should have gone here was I should have first striked. At least we would have lost 2 units, but we would have traded. I don't exactly know if that would have been the correct way. I mean, we'll lose 2 units anyways. Just this line at least leads us into a Rose Tico follow up, potentially, as long as we don't get traded into. But it is blue-red control, and the name of the game is to let's limit our opponent as much as possible. And so ended up here, which is great. We're gonna resource that. I think this was the incorrect line here. We can play more things. We can play the Ezra out. We got the raid 1 attack over. I think it just didn't feel as clean here. So we're gonna resource the Black Squadron because it honestly is just such a dead card. It was great on paper. That's why the K2s are in there. We had 1 game with the K2 in the list, and just we didn't even see the K2, so I didn't even get to really tell the difference. And then we got the Condemn on here, and this is where I was mentioning, hey, just make the Voltron leader and call it good, because we can do some damage. I think I should have just let them do the damage onto Ezra. There's not a lot of leader kill cards, and potentially letting them draw is what gave them into this board wipe coming up. And at this point, we're so far behind it. I don't know how we're going to. We know they have the Vizsla that just kills things, which is such a good card. Blue Villainy gets everything. Where's my heroism removal? Where's my, Andor blew things up. Just saying. That dude probably murdered people. But that's, FFG doesn't want to have that conversation. Yeah, we don't get to have our own exclusive heroism explosions. Thanks for my TED Talk. If you made it this far, you were forced to listen to it. But I think this deck has a lot of potential. Into a heavy control format. And honestly, I'm not the best player, so there's probably someone that has a really good list that makes mine look like dookie butt. And this is a couple weeks of testing, something I enjoyed. I've done pretty successful on Carabas. I've historically always had a bad time into a lot of the more control formats and control stuff. But we lose here if they have the habit. Planetary Bombardment just really cooks. Obviously didn't, so that was really cool. We're just gonna float it over there. We could Beguile. We can slap down an Uruk. This puts them on having it, I guess. No matter what, they're able to trade up on the following turn, or here currently, just trading up the shield and killing over my guy, which is what they do. Objectively, that's the correct answer. That's what they have to do. And then they drop all their small units to swing wide, and this just kind of puts us in the game. I did want to just put him up at 30 just because, give him the advantage token, hit him with that GG, and that would be it, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and check out the rest of the channel. Thanks for watching.